All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the future of IT applications, especially now in the age of AI. There is so much noise, so much hype out there. Our job today, cut through all of that and see what's really happening under the hood. I mean, you've seen it, right? It feels like you can't even open your inbox without another big announcement. Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, you name it. Every single major vendor is scrambling to bolt generative AI onto their products. It's the biggest thing in tech. And honestly, the promise sounds revolutionary. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. In this mad dash, this AI gold rush, most vendors, and by extension their customers, are making a huge hidden mistake. It's this foundational error that looks great on a PowerPoint slide, but could end up logging you into years and years of technical debt. Okay, so let's unpack this. To really get a handle on the mistake that's being made with AI right now, we actually need to rewind a bit. Let's look back at the last massive transformation, the move to the cloud. You know why? Because this isn't some brand new problem. It's a pattern, and believe me, it is repeating itself as we speak. Remember this whole debate? On the left, you had lift and shift. That was the easy way out, the shortcut. You basically took your old, messy on-prem servers and just plopped them into someone else's data center. Sure, it felt like you were in the cloud, but nothing about your architecture actually changed. The real value, the game-changing stuff we see on the right, that only came from going cloud native, rethinking how you build applications from the ground up. See the difference? One was just a cosmetic change, the other was a true transformation. Just keep that distinction in your head. Okay, so let's fast forward back to today. That exact same lift and shift thinking, that shortcut mentality, it's happening all over again. But this time, it's with AI, and it's got a pretty fitting name. The AI lipstick problem. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly explains the core issue. You can put this super fancy conversational AI chatbot on top of an old, clunky system, but if that AI can't fundamentally see and reason over the raw data underneath, well, you haven't really changed anything, have you? The AI is just talking to a black box through a tiny little straw. It's a superficial fix. It is quite literally lipstick on a pig. Now, the big analyst firms like Gartner, they have this really compelling vision for the future. They call it the AI ringmaster. The idea is you have this central AI intelligence that orchestrates all the different systems in your company, your SAP, your Salesforce, the whole shebang. And on the surface, man, that looks incredibly powerful. But here's the fatal flaw in that vision, at least as things stand today. The ringmaster is trying to conduct a grand orchestra, but every single instrument is locked away in its own soundproof box. The AI agents can't see the underlying data in SAP or Salesforce. They can only poke at them through these rigid, predefined APIs. The business logic is all hard-coded. It's the lift and shift mistake all over again, just with a new coat of paint. So, if the current approach is basically a dead end, what's the answer? What's the solution? Well, it's going to require a fundamental architectural shift. We have to move from these black boxes to something new, something called a PGBC. Now, to understand the solution, we've got to first talk about the current standard. Gartner calls it a packaged business capability, or PBC. Just think of it as a self-contained black box, right? Like a customer module or an order module. All the data, all the logic, it's all bundled up tightly together inside. And for years, this was considered best practice. But for an AI that needs to see everything to be smart, this tidy little package has turned into a cage. And that brings us to the big evolution, from PBC to PGBC. The key, the magic letter here is G, for general. It's no coincidence. Just as AI is moving towards artificial general intelligence, our business applications have to be built on a foundation that is generally accessible, not stuck in these narrow, rigid silos. So how does a PGBC actually work? Well, it's actually pretty elegant. It separates the whole system into 3 distinct layers. First, at the very bottom, you have your business data. It's raw, it's unlocked, it is your asset. Then, in the middle, you've got this universal access layer that's kind of like a translator. It describes your data and makes sure it's handled properly for any system that wants to use it. And then finally, on top, you have the vendor's application logic, their secret sauce. But now it's expressed as flexible prompts, not rigid, unchangeable code. And here's what that looks like as a full architectural model. Just look at that clean separation. At the bottom, that's your data layer, your asset. In the middle, you've got the PGBC services acting as this secure universal gateway. And then on top, you have the vendor's IP acting on your data through prompts, but, and this is key, never locking it away. This structure, this changes everything. Okay, so what does this new architecture actually change in the real world? This isn't just some technical thing for architects to argue about. This fundamentally redefines value, competition, the whole game in enterprise software. Let's go back to Gartner's Ringmaster for a second. Remember the problem? The orchestra of black boxes? Well, now, just imagine that same ringmaster conducting an orchestra of open, transparent PGBCs. The AI agents can now see the data. They can reason across systems. The vision? It finally works, because the foundation is actually built for it. And this is the ultimate business benefit right here. When your systems are built this way, you don't need these massive multi-year projects just to get them to talk to each other. You can simply describe what you want to the AI ringmaster, and it orchestrates the whole process. Integration happens at the speed of thought, not the speed of a project plan. The whole idea of what intellectual property even is, it totally changes. The vendor's IP isn't hard-coded logic anymore. It's a set of kernel prompts that lay out the best practices. Then, as you can see here, your system integrator can add their own layer of prompts, maybe for local rules. And your own IT team can add another layer for your company's specific customizations. It's like cascading style sheets, but for business logic. Upgrades no longer break everything you built. This just flips the entire value equation on its head. In the old world, the PBC era, you were basically paying vendors to hold your data hostage inside their application. In this new PGBC world, you pay for their valuable expertise, their logic, their prompts that orchestrates your open, accessible data. You're buying expertise, not a data prison. So this brings us to the final and I think most important part of all this. How do you, as an IT leader, actually navigate this? How do you tell the difference between real transformation and just clever marketing hype? Well, here's a practical litmus test. The next time a vendor comes in to show you their amazing new AI solution, run it through this checklist. Is your data still locked up inside their system? Is the business logic still hard-coded? Is customization still done with code? If you're nodding yes to these, then I'm sorry, but you're looking at lipstick on a pig. Real transformation means your data is open, logic is prompt-driven, and your customizations are layered on top. And this means we have to completely redefine a word we use all the time: legacy. Legacy no longer just means old. A system can be brand new, released last week, but if it locks your data in a black box and hard-codes its business logic, it's a legacy system. It is not fit for the age of AI, period. So all of this, all these diagrams, these new acronyms, this whole analysis, it really all boils down to one simple, incredibly powerful question. A question that you have to start asking your vendors, your team, and honestly, yourselves. It's not, are we using AI? Come on, everybody is. That's table stakes. The real question, the one that matters, is this. Is our architecture built for AI? That single question shifts the entire conversation away from superficial features and gets right to the structural foundation. This is the question that's going to separate the winners from the losers over the next decade. Because at the end of the day, the whole paradigm is shifting. We're moving away from painstakingly coding every little piece of behavior. The future of enterprise applications is going to be about describing our intent to intelligent systems that are built on an open, transparent foundation. The future isn't coded, it's described.